Hello and welcome back to the CineClub podcast. I'm Matthew.
I'm Billy.
I'm Bebe.
And I'm Rhys.
Today we're talking about two films by the same director, Failsafe and 12 Angry Men, both directed by Sidney Lumet, arguably his most well-renowned and appreciated films.
We thought it would be interesting to discuss these two films since I screened Failsafe a couple of weeks ago at CineClub.
So, Bill, what made you want to screen Failsafe?
I still found it really relevant. It's like, almost 50 years old now, and it deals with stuff for the Cold War, but I picked it, I think, back in November when Trump got re-elected. The conflict in Russia and Ukraine was like on the brink, and so was the stuff with Israel and Palestine. It was like, it felt still incredibly relevant with everything that was going on, so I thought, what better way to educate the people of CineClub by showing like the most harrowing film ever.
You always know how to cheer up, don't you?
Yeah, of course. I'm a ray of sunshine.
What I thought was relevant as well was the way they talk about the fact, it's a mechanical failure, and they talk about how it's all become machinery and like there's less chance for, people, for humanity into it, and that's kind of what caused the problem in the first place. And I think that's very true today, even in just day-to-day life.
Yeah, certainly with the rise of AI and literally everywhere you look. Every single app or website's got some sort of AI tool in it now.
Yeah. Would you like to use Grandma? No, I would not, actually.
We're one step away from Skynet.
Yeah.
So, what do we all think of the film?
I've not really stopped thinking about it.
No, I don't think anyone has.
It's genuine, I knew I was going to like it, but when it gets to, I think it really picks up about 20 minutes. Is it 20 minutes in when they realise what's going on?
It's quite early on, yeah.
And they're all like, oh, it's fine, we're going to get this sorted. And then they realise they can't get it sorted. And they're like, this is bad, this. That was when I was like, this is really good.
It's good in that all the like doctrine and all the dogma comes back to bite them. I really like that. How the pilots are so well trained and so prepared for this event, like Russian counter sabotage, all the possibilities. They prepared themselves too well and almost too eager for war in that case.
Yeah, the part where they're supposed to be working with the Russians, but then one of the Russian planes gets shot, and then they start cheering, and then everyone's like, what is wrong with you?
I love that bit. That was one of the best bits in the whole thing. It really dissects all the differences between them, and how when it comes to it, we are all just people. It's that when it comes to these people's lives on the line, nations and all the history doesn't really matter. These innocent people, especially nuclear bombings, these innocent people are going to get blown up, and they need to sort themselves out. Basically, that's the message of the film: sort yourself out.
It's just Sidney Lumet looking into the camera like, oh yeah, sort yourself out, mate.
Yeah. There's actually a shot where it looks like I think it's Henry Fonda's president is actually directly looking at you.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of felt intense enough.
Henry Fonda's so good in this.
What a performance.
He's it's phenomenal. The bit at the very end, the bit that stands out to me is the whole time he's really professional when he's talking to the premier, I don't know how to pronounce it. And then right at the end, he's like, right, well, what do we tell them? And the Russians are like, well, we'll tell them it wasn't anyone's fault. And he's like, no, this was our fault. He's like, we've done this.
Yeah.
And he's getting really angry. I was like, oh my God.
He takes accountability, which is nice.
And he blows up New York.
He does also blow up New York,
for a
which
US president.
sets up Escape from New York, obviously.
But to take accountability or blow up New York.
Bit of both, really.
Bit of both. Okay, there's still time.
Yeah, it sets up Escape from New York as well. That's
is this your fan theory?
my fan in
Failsafe, a prequel to John Carpenter's Escape from New York.
What else could have happened?
It's just a really tense Henry Fonda, black and white, in a basement, shouting his head off about, we've done this, and then the next song, it's just Kurt Russell chewing the scenery as Snake Plissken.
That'd be great.
We should do a bill someday. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Confuse everyone. It's like Billy's idea. Did you not want to do a bill like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and then Snowpiercer just to continue to wind me up?
Yeah, it's fun.
Is this the Loompa law? How they all end up dying in the Snowpiercer?
Yeah. Insane.
Madness that. But yeah, it's interesting how both genres of stupid 80s action movie and the most tense thing I've ever seen are both about the same topic, essentially.
Yeah.
They both can link like that. And New York getting destroyed is such a symbol of American culture. And I think that's another thing about Failsafe. It really just dissects everything.
Mm.
And that's how grave of a thing it is, how blown up New York. Because,
It's the way he does it so casually as well. He's like, he rings General Black and he's like, you got to blow up New York now.
Yeah.
You've got to kill your whole family,
gotta-
by the way.
Yeah,
That's
he
just
double
already-
checks his family is there.
Did he say again, like, put your family in New York? That's how much I trust you. He says something like that.
No,
No.
I think
He
it's
asks him if
he
the
asks
wife
him,
and
yeah.
kids are in New York, and he says yes, and then he just tells him to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Take your kids to New York. He's like, he rings him an hour later. He's like, you're not going to like what I've got to tell you
Look up,
next.
mate. I like that as well because he, in any other situation, in a real situation, all the president's like men and all their families would be evacuated before this. They'd like leave it. They'd like prep for all the important people to stay out of it. But Henry Fonda's character is such like a down to earth president in this situation. I think that he realizes the only way to minimize the risk of like revolution and risk of everything going wrong and just is to like make everyone die, sacrifice as few as possible, but not make any exceptions. I think that's really interesting.
whole film's really interesting. It's like a brilliant example of just filmmaking, full stop.
Yes.
It's nigh on perfect.
I think it's very impressive that they managed to do it all in like 3 rooms as well.
Yeah,
Right.
I think a lot of Sidney Lumet's films work quite well in small space that you could easily see them being on stage.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same with 12 Angry Men. You've got it opens in like the actual courtroom, and then the rest of it's just all in one room until they leave at the end.
Yeah.
And I think like that kind of in both cases sort of adds to the intensity because you're kind of just stuck in these places
Yeah, it's
with
like
these
really
people.
claustrophobic.
Like the amount of camera shots to do as well, they really vary it up because I think if I was making that film, the biggest struggle would be to make it visually interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they somehow manage it with all these different shots. Even if they do repeat them, it's like timely, the shots have meaning to them. It's brilliant.
Yes. And like, you know, if we're talking technicals, the sound design.
Yeah, the sound design's really good.
One specific moment.
Especially in the cinema. Yeah, that bit at the end.
That bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What was the moment for you where it just, where the pin dropped, like, oh, they're not getting out of this?
It was when, for me, he's talking to the Russians and he's like, well, the plane's made over, and they're like, you think there's still hope? And then, what's he called, Jay rings and he's going, the sky is very bright.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no.
That's when it's over, yeah. I love how much we're putting to the heads of the characters as well.
Yeah.
And Henry Fonda, because he could have easily just walked away from that Moscow bombing. Like, he could have claimed that as a US victory, said, we did this intentionally, the Cold War's over, we've won. Whereas he takes the human route instead of the US route. I think that's very interesting. But I think the thing that stresses me out a lot about that film is how much they've got to go through with all the formalities still.
Yeah.
Like, when the president phones the premier, he's still got to go, hello, how are you doing? How's your day been?
Yeah.
When there's like an active bomb flying towards him, he's still got to get all these things out of the way because it's like so drawn up in all these political, like, I think that's the thing for both these films as well. They're both like bureaucratic entanglement is the main theme.
Yeah, I can say that.
Because both of them got these layers and layers of processes that they've got to go through in order to reach this solution.
I think that's a theme with a lot of his body of work from what I've seen and what I've read. It seems to be an issue that he tackles a lot. So makes sense that they're in these two as well.
Yeah.
So we've had a little chat about Failsafe. Should we talk about 12 Angry Men? First of all, do you guys think it holds up to the hype surrounding it?
100%.
Yeah,
It's brilliant. I like it more than Failsafe. The only reason I didn't show that is because it's so well known.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to give some of his other filmography a bit more of a spotlight because I don't think Failsafe gets acknowledged nearly as much as it should. But 12 Angry Men is brilliant. It was my favourite film that I watched last year, and I watched 200 films, so it's definitely up there.
Do you think Failsafe's maybe overshadowed by Dr. Strangelove?
Yeah, definitely. I think having Kubrick attached to it has sort of overshadowed this massively. So, yeah. I didn't think of it before, but yeah, that's a good point. Strangelove probably did that.
Because they were like around the same time, were they not? When
I
they
think
both
so,
came
Yeah,
out?
I think
they
it's the
were-
same,
they were
the same year.
Pretty much, I think,
Mhm.
basically the same year. And then I'm sure someone had said that Kubrick always claimed that he came up with the idea and came out with the concept first, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it does hold up to the hype. I was worried it wouldn't. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good, but it's not gonna be. I don't know when in the exact moment, when I was like, it might have been near the end when they're talking about the glasses. And
glasses
bit,
the old man reveals it in such a weird way. He's smiling. He's like,
He's so
"Oh, did you
smug
see the
about it."
marks on her nose?" And everyone's going, "What the fuck? What's he talking about?" And then you're like, "Oh, that's what you mean." He's
Yeah.
okay. That was when I was like, "Yeah, this is phenomenal."
I thought, as you said, I thought it was going to be a film that was good for the time it came out, but it
Yeah.
hasn't held up. But it really does.
It does.
Yeah.
It feels like fresh and modern still. Main thing I love about it is how much they get to characterize all these different people. Because looking at it, it's a bunch of white blokes in a room, right?
Yeah.
Same age, like mostly same background, but they've all got even little differences in their outfits and their characteristics. Make them just so unique and be able to stand out. Like I was thinking, I'm going to struggle to remember all these guys because there's 12 of them, right?
They're all
There's
angry.
12 of them. I know, no way. 12 angry
All
men.
12 angry men.
That's the name of the movie.
Were they all angry though? What do you think?
No,
Well,
we were talking about
yes.
this earlier, weren't we?
What?
I don't know. We're all
I don't
angry
think
now.
they're all angry.
I think
We
we
also
also
got
got
into-
angry at some point.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, it would have been good if like they'd walked in and they were all fuming.
Oh, yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Or just like cartoon steam coming out of their ears.
They were just
Work
really
with
like
all-
Vaggie, and they were kicking off at each other.
One of them was kicking off.
Yeah,
Number
he was
three.
always kicking, number three.
Number
He
3 was kicking off at everyone. He was starting to fight people. 3, 4.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't see
For
that.
the viewers
but
at
Billy's
home, I've just held up a 4 instead of a 3.
Next episode, we're going to teach Rhys how to count. Can't wait for that one. But yeah.
Continue with what you were what you were going to say before
They're
you.
all angry at some point. I love how well they're characterized.
Yes.
Little differences. The salesman as well. He has great characterization, I think, just in his hat. The way at the start of the film, he's flipping it about on his fingers and spinning it about. He's not here seriously. I love how at the beginning it's all seen as really trivial to them. How it goes from
yes.
a near unanimous guilty to given some time to think about it. This guy's innocent. And I love how Henry Fonda's the only guy who steps up to that. He's brilliant.
I love how he's like, it's not like he votes guilty, innocent, sorry. He votes innocent, and he's like, oh no, he's not guilty. He's like, well, he might be.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a chance he's guilty.
so annoying at the start.
At the start, he's like,
I wanted
he
to go
wants to be
home.
different. He's like, I'm going to keep this man from going to his baseball
You know-
game. I think he was innocent.
That's what I think he was doing. He didn't have any plan at the start. He was just trying to wind them up.
Piss taker.
I know if I wanted to go to my baseball match or like see my kids or something, this one guy, the racist guy, had 3 garages to attend to. What's he going to do, right?
Yeah.
And then Henry Fonda's there saying, well, maybe it wasn't the same night. Maybe the woman had glasses. Maybe this old man didn't get to the door. I'd be so pissed off. I'd
But when
want
he's
to
like-
kill him.
You would be pretty angry.
I'd want to kill him, but I wouldn't mean that.
Angry Man. Because that's the name of the film. The one he's like recreating the guy walking. You know, he's doing the old
Yeah.
man when he hears the body drop, and he's like, it's just Henry Fonda walking, and he's dragging his feet.
Yeah.
And when the guy goes, he goes, you want to go that slow? And he goes, I can go faster, and he doesn't go faster at all. He's just, he was just a nightmare.
I love it how I think it's number 10, during number 10, the racist one.
Yeah.
He steps in the way of Henry Fonda when he's doing it, but Henry
does,
Fonda
and he-
doesn't stop walking. He's just barreling him out of the
Henry
way.
Fonda's walking towards you, even with a limp, you're stepping back.
I know. He's so tall as
You're
well.
getting out of his way.
Oh, what was the most tense bit in that film? Because we've already talked about that in Failsafe. They both have similar moments of tension in them.
Well, I think one of the most memorable moments for me has always been when the man just goes on that huge rant about, they're all like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everyone just turns one by one. It's just such a powerful visual, you know, that they're all so different, but like everyone's just saying,
I think
We
that's
can't
also
do that
so
anymore.
incredibly relevant today.
yes.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because some things don't need to be argued.
Yeah,
Just
with
shut up.
mentalities in certain groups
Yeah.
still prevalent today, which just goes to as like a testament to these films that they're still just as timeless nearly 50, 60 years on. What do we think these two films have in common, other than, being made by the same director and featuring Henry Fonda being like one of the best actors you've ever seen in film, like ever.
Yeah. I'm not even going to...
They're both in black and white.
They're both in black and white. That's a great comparison, Rhys. Thank you.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, they're both some of the most tense things I've ever seen. The amount of sweat these actors exude in these films, it's ridiculous. You could fill a bucket with it. You could probably fill this room with it. The amount of sweat. That's one comparison.
Get Roger Corman on it. Instead of bucket of blood, it could be bucket of sweat.
No. I don't want to watch that. What are you talking about? No, yeah, they are both really tense on it. And they're both in like, very like, how do I put it? There's very few rooms in each film.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 12 Angry Men, there's 2 rooms and there's a bit outside. And in Failsafe, there's 3 main rooms.
Yeah.
But then there's a bit where he's at the start, he's in his house, and you know.
Yeah, it's very theatrical.
I was gonna, there could be plays, and there probably have been made plays. I'm just not aware.
Yeah. They've been remade
so.
like twice now, probably.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it could be
because
plays.
12 Angry Men was.
It was remade in like the 90s, I think.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier,
And,
weren't we? James Gandolfini
was number 6, I think.
I'm pretty sure
How can you
Failsafe
guys
got remade
remember
as
the
well with like an
names?
all-star cast at some point.
I don't think it works in all-star cast though. You need just like people who look like
Yeah.
high-ranking military officials.
Yeah.
George Clooney produced the Failsafe remake in the 90s.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of the people that I couldn't think of any of the names of who were in it, but
Was he the president?
Oh,
Might
I
have
don't know if he was he in it?
he was in it.
Oh,
I
I thought
don't
he
know who he
produced it.
played.
3
That's
years
the thing.
after Batman and Robin, and he's
I
doing
feel like you need,
Failsafe.
like if you're gonna have anyone be recognisable, just have it be the president because he's a public figure.
Yeah.
The rest of
Mhm.
them, they don't need to be
Mm.
really well-known actors.
Exactly. They need to be just guys, just government officials,
Yeah.
old men. That's what we need for that film. Same with this as well. Same with I forgot
We
what it's
need
called.
old men.
Same with
Put that on
12
a
Angry Men.
t-shirt.
I'm not having that on a t-shirt.
We need old
CineClub
men.
merch coming soon. We need old men. For 12 Angry Men as well, it's good because they're just, again, random blokes, just members of the public.
Yes.
And again,
Yeah.
in both these films, Henry Fonda is the best, most like sound, rational character.
Yeah.
Well, he's always a white hat, isn't he? You know, he's always.
He's just a chill guy, really.
He's just, yeah, you'd love him, wouldn't you?
And like, oh,
What?
He should,
He'd love to,
he's
I don't know,
always,
have a chat with
he's
him.
just always a symbol of everything that's right and
Yeah.
mhm.
good. Because he's Wyatt Earp as well in My Darling
I can't
Clementine.
believe,
isn't
I
he?
can't believe I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I know I completely missed out on it now.
Have you only just realised
Yeah.
now?
I don't know
After
how he's
Failsafe.
missed that.
Well, because I didn't know
I
who
thought
Henry
as soon as
Fonda
you saw
was.
the close up of him, you'd be like, "Oh, it's the shave man."
That's what I didn't notice until we were in the car for the film and Billy turned to me and he went, "Shave." And I went, "What?" And he went, "It's White Up." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it is."
Yeah. Like, I think these 3 films, like, and obviously,
My Darling Clementine.
My Darling Clementine, yeah. All those 3 films have solidified Henry Fonda as like one of my favourites now. Because
Yeah.
before I had no
Right.
clue.
I
I
love him.
was like, oh, it's Jane Fonda's dad. He was okay. And now I'm like, wow, he was so cool. I want to watch all his films. I want to just consume every bit of Henry Fonda into my mind.
You what?
You want that on a t-shirt?
Yeah, put that one on a
On the back
t-shirt.
of We Need Old Men.
Producer, make a note. We need Rhys to. We need more t-shirts for
Can see how
Rhys's
many
quotes.
writings. Yes.
Yes.
We got a thumbs up.
And where he's around campus now. I want to consume Henry Fonda. Have that,
Your
on the
dad's
front, have that
gonna
on the
love
front,
that.
have Into My Mind on the back. So we'll do a double take. Okay, so on that bombshell, it's very interesting to compare the 2 of these films. Which one do we prefer? Because they are very similar but very different.
As I said before, I prefer 12 Angry Men. It's very close, but
Mm.
I've got to give it to 12 Angry Men. I think going back to the films that I watched last year, because I saw them both for the first time last year, I think 12 Angry Men was number 1. I think Failsafe was about 10 or 11. It's just narrowly missed out, but like they're both brilliant.
Mm-hmm. They are both brilliant. I think what something I really appreciate about 12 Angry Men is how it's essentially an essay turned into a film, because it's just Henry Fonda presenting his argument to
Oh, yeah.
the world for 90 minutes, and you've got to go along
Yeah.
with it. You've got to follow every last bit of it, and it somehow works. It's brilliant. But despite that, I think Failsafe is my slight favourite because it was more tense. It made us feel as if, I don't even know how to describe this emotion that it left us with. I just felt shocked.
Hollowness.
I felt like I actually watched a nuclear bomb detonate in front of us. That's how I would feel. And it was like that. And the whole thing, it's just a Metal Gear cutscene turned into a film. You can tell Hideo Kojima watched that when he was making Metal Gear. It's brilliant. That, like, my personal taste, it appeals to that as well. And I think it's just a more tense film in general. The stakes are higher. Like, yeah, in 12 Angry Men, you're playing with this guy's life. But in Failsafe, you're playing with the world's life, essentially.
But in the same vein, I feel like the lower stakes of 12 Angry Men is what makes it work. It's not the end of the world, but it could be the end of this person's world.
Yeah.
Like, these 12 men are all sat in a room and they've got the fate of this young man's like life in their hands. It's up to them. And I feel like that's why it's so effective.
Yeah. I like that as well, because at the start, not hearing the argument that they're presented with, they're all unanimously saying basically, he's guilty. Vote guilty, get it over with. You're kind of like, oh, he must be guilty then. But then, as soon as Henry Fonda steps up, he's like, whoa, can we not talk about this a bit more? It's not just some process, it's some man's life on the line. Yeah. You're thinking, oh yeah, I feel kind of bad now.
It's really progressive and sort of challenging of social norms for the time as well.
Yeah.
That's sort of what struck me about it. It's 1950s, it's segregation's still a thing in America. All this racial prejudice is the norm. And then you've got a film like this, which sort of says to the people watching it, you need to think about what you're doing and reconsider your actions. And it's so effective.
Well, as fun as it is to discuss these two films, it looks like we've run out of time. Hope you've enjoyed listening to us talk about them, and we pose the question to you: which is your favourite out of these two, Failsafe or 12 Angry Men, and why?
To get in touch with us, email us at cineclub.podcast@sparksunderland.com. We'd love to hear what you think, either about these two films or just films in general. Give one email.
You can also get in touch with us at the CineClub Podcast _Spark on Instagram. It's a good way to keep an eye on all of the CineClub podcast developments.
As always, this episode was recorded and produced by us, the Sunderland University students, as well as being edited by Emily Main. Special thanks goes out to Steve Cannon, Barbara Sadler and Richard Berry. And a friendly reminder that the 4 angry men huddled in our nuclear bunker this week have consisted of me, Rhys,
Matthew,
Billy,
and me, Bebe. This has been a CineClub podcast production for Spark. Thanks for listening.